Well, I came outside to find Cody because we were gonna work on water lines, but this always happens. We lose each other out here. We need like walkie-talkies or something.
Now we can leave this city. Let's drive to the open air. Yeah, the countryside is so pretty, with the wind blowing in your hair. We can look back someday. Baby, don't you understand that we only get one life? I wanna make it count, honey. Come on now and take my hand.
We literally bring you with us so you don't have to stay home in a crate all day, yet you would rather sleep in the crate out here. It doesn't make no sense to me. You're sure cute though. And how are you today?
Oh, the big jewel face. The love bug.
These two would much rather be outside. They are very much outdoor dogs and like beg to come out here. That's her favorite spot to sit, and he just likes playing ball all day long, and he'll just sit in the sun, sunbathe and chew on ball all day. Maya, do you want to come inside? Do you want to go in? Okay guys, you guessed it, it is the next day. I am now about to polyurethane, and you also guessed this is also a year old and from Texas, so hopefully it's still good as well. I'm about to pop it open, but I'm going to polyurethane all of the shelving that we did, minus the rod, because there's gonna be hangers on the rod and it's gonna wear over time, so we don't want the polyurethane to look like crap. So we're just gonna leave that to set in over time. But yes, I'm going to polyurethane these, so let's get to it. This is not the right kind of brush for this, but I'm also not gonna go into town to buy a brush, so we will make it work. So I have 1, 2, 3 done. Now I just basically need them to dry so I can turn them over, do them again, and then see if I need a second coat. I'll probably end up doing a second coat anyways. It says that I don't need one, but I'll probably end up doing one anyways. So he got the shelf in. We still need another middle bracket, but it's not like any weight's going on it right now, so we'll just pick that up. We're still missing a few brackets, but it's not a big deal. Like I said, no weight's gonna go on, so we'll just pick them up. But
And then we'll probably put 2 more across the bottom. That way it can also be sort of a step stool, since Summer's not the tallest in the world. She'll need a little bit of help being able to see to the top of the shelf. So being that it's going right into the studs on the bottom, should be able to support a good amount of weight. And the brackets are super heavy duty too.
So we went to Menards yesterday and picked up a lot of stuff for our gas lines, which y'all are going to see next week.
Yep, but while we were at Menards, they happen to be the best place that I've found to be able to get plumbing and PEX-A stuff, because they have literally anything and everything you can think of. What we're doing today is adding some extra shutoff valves into our water system to make it easier to change the filters. That way I don't have to drain the water system and let all the pressure out to be able to change the filters. So with these, we'll be able to just turn the shutoff valves, undo the filters, replace the filters, and then when we turn the shutoff valves back on, it'll be good to go.
We're doing all of these little things because, like we said, we still don't have tractor parts in. We don't know when we're gonna get tractor parts, and we can't do anything about our septic until we have tractor parts. So we're trying to do all these little things to prep us for moving in, because as soon as we get that sanitarian approval, we will be moving in. So we need to have everything inside the house ready to go for roughing it living lifestyle prior to us getting those approvals. That way we can get in the house. I'm trying to improve things where we can, work on things where we can. It's kind of defeating not being able to work on the septic, because that's really all we need to do to move in this place, but we're just trying to make do with what we have and where we can. So
yeah, I'm waiting on 1 hydraulic hose, and apparently Kubota doesn't even have it, so it's a couple weeks out. So
we're a little stressed about it, but let's work on water lines.
So the first thing we're gonna do is cut this line that is the outlet coming out of the pump. That way we can add in a shutoff directly after the pump to be able to isolate the water filters. Another thing that's amazing about PEX-A, it can still be dripping water when you put shutoff valves in. Don't have to worry about it being dry. Now we wait. Only takes about a minute for it to shrink back down to size.
Now that we have a bathroom cabinet, we finally have storage, so let me grab a water filter. And Rocky always wants to play ball. Here you go, my love.
Thank you. So I was able to change this water filter the other day because it has a built-in shutoff valve on the top. So you just turn it to off, and then it blocks off the pressure from the system from the actual filter, so you're able to unscrew it and change it. However, these don't have shutoff valves built in, so that's why we're adding the extra shutoff valves in the system. So right now, since we don't have any pressure in it, figured better time as any than to change the filter.
And it's been raining a lot, so our pond is super muddy, which means our filters are super muddy. Oh yeah. The puppy's gross.
We put the new filter in. Just get a little bit of water in there. Notice it's a lot easier to get the filter to seat correctly if you fill the container back up with water first, because then it'll make the filter float. So you can make sure that it's exactly where it needs to be up top. It makes it a little easier since you can't physically see it going into the spot it needs to in the top.
So this way you know it's in there before you screw it in. And our water system still goes through the UV light before going into the house.
So it's the ballast and alarm system basically for the UV light. So it's got a built-in alarm, that way if the bulb itself ever goes out and
isn't killing bacteria anymore.
As long as it still has power and the bulb itself goes out, this will set off an alarm to let us know that the bulb went out. And then it's also a ballast, so it converts it from 110 volts down to the voltage required for the light bulb to be able to operate.
Yep. So if I'm ever unsure if the UV light's working, I'll just come out here and take a look.
Now I'm going to be adding a T into the outlet side after the sanitizer. That way we can have filtered, sanitized water available outside, and it also makes it easier to be able to flush the system. now we have a shut-off valve directly after the pump and then directly after the filter system, so that way we can isolate the filter system and be able to change all the filters without having to bleed all the pressure out of the system. Also, now we have this spigot that comes out of the end of the sanitizer hose, so now we can have fresh sanitized and filtered water outside rather than having to go inside to get water.
I'm going to buy a water bowl for the dogs, and it's gonna be mounted on the outside.
Yeah, so we can hook up a water hose or fill up water bowls for the dogs outside now.
Yep. We are out here digging gas lines. So this is the last kind of, minus the septic, which we all know is just a waiting game right now. This is kind of like the last big project that we need before we can move in, because we need a dryer and we need somewhere to cook meals. So we have to run gas for our stove and for our dryer. So that's what we're out here doing right now, is digging.
Also, listen, I'm not the strongest by any means. I'm going to do my best because I'm not going to make him dig this alone, but he knows and I both know that I'm not as strong as him. So we'll see. We'll see.
So digging our trench, happen to find the string we used to level out the piers for the foundation.
Yeah, it got buried under some dirt.
Yeah.
We made chili dogs for lunch, and then we're gonna get back at it. So we're gonna keep digging this trench, but come back next week to see us finish up these gas lines.
Bye.
Bye.
Baby, don't you understand that we only get one life? I wanna make